All right, let's finish up the 2004 season. So Rockies here, the team that I am. We made the playoffs last year. Let's see. I wanted to go to team history. Just loading here a little bit. Let's go to team history. So last year, 2003, we made the playoffs. 85 and 77. Not our best record. 98 was our best record. But we did win the division last year. So bouncing back in 2004, I thought we'd have a better season. We finished 75 and 87. Not terrible, but definitely below average. We finished the year pretty hot. Looks like our expected record was 73 and 89, so we were at least two above that. That changes, by the way, as it goes. That's not like predetermined for the season. It's kind of like as the season rolls on, should you have won this game or, where should you be, I guess, according to the equations. But anyway, yeah, 75 and 87. Let's take a glance at some of our stats here. Definitely offense was down. Usually we're like first in a bunch of these categories up here. As you can see, fifth in OPS, sixth in runs scored. We're usually like first in runs scored. Runs against was almost last. At least it wasn't last. Quite often that's the case being in Coors Field with our pitching. Starters ERA, bullpen ERA, not good. We did strike a lot of people out. I do like that because it's less balls in play at Coors Field, but still your runs against are bad, regardless. So I'd like to see that higher, of course. And I'd like to see our runs scored way better than six to kind of balance that out. We do have a lot of bright spots. Helton and Petrick first ranking at their positions. So Petrick has just been a stud in this game. He goes to arbitration. He's already on 6.8 mil, which is a lot for this game. He's estimated to be 7.4 for arbitration. Three-time All-Star, 2001. Didn't make it in 02, but made it in 03 and then made it this year. He's fast. He can base run. I've had a good catching coach who has really developed him into having awesome catcher ability. 65. That's really good. And he's got a good arm, and obviously he can hit. His ratings here, according to my scout, still pretty good, not outstanding. He's below average in contact and avoiding Ks. He's right around average home run but he's just like flourished, especially hitting at our ballpark. 31 jacks this year, 34 last year. And as a catcher, had a 382 on base last year, 372 this year. Helton just been a stud every year. He's 31 now in this game. He hit 35 jacks. Only has one MVP. I thought he should have won it another time, but he got it back in 98. That is when he hit, let's see, what did he hit? 414. He did flirt with 400 the next year. He hit 394. Last year in our playoff year, he was 384. So anyway, we got some good things going. We just got to build around those guys. We'll have those guys coming back. We did trade for Brandon James this year. I got him in right field. He's a slugger, 65 power, had 26 homers with us and 24 with Milwaukee. So that's 50 jacks this year. Last year he had 36 with Milwaukee, but they have him as the fourth best right fielder. He's actually way better in the left, but I was rotating some younger guys in the left. Rajai Davis, who's a top 100 prospect. Didn't do great this year. He's just really fast. He's good at defense. He's still a top 100 guy. But offensively, good on base percentage. That's it. He's got no pop, and his average isn't great either. So I'd been working him in there. Right now, my manager is still controlling my lineups and stuff, but I go and I play the games out, I sim them out in game. So I change the lineups around and stuff. But I've had Raj Davis at left, and also some other young outfielders. Jody Garrett just kind of hasn't panned out. He's already going to be 28 next year. He had like one good year. He made the All-Star game, and I like his ratings. So I keep kind of giving him a shot. I guess, he's still going to be on kind of low money arbitration wise, 600,000. That's not bad to maybe give him another shot. My scout likes him, as you can see. It's a very high accuracy. His contact is below average barely, and then his home run power is at average. Everything else is above average or well above average. He's fast. He can steal. His defense is average, but yeah, I mean, he just I feel like he should be better. He had 465 at bats this year, so we gave him a lot of chances. Last year we had a better outfield, so he didn't get a lot of at bats, 111. In 02, though, he did well. And in 01, the year he made the All-Star game, he did real well. Slash 314, 376, 533 in a full season, 640 at bats. So I don't know what I'll do with him. It's the end of the season now, so I'll have to figure those things out in the off season. But again, that's where we're at. We finished fourth in the division, not last. Padres were last. They almost lost 100 games. But as you can see here, Giants clinched. Dodgers eliminated 2 games out, and we were a big part of that. So check out the end of our season here. We finished winning the series against Huston. We lost the final game, but we won the series. And what was their record? They were 95 and 66. I guess 96 here if we click on this. Oh, yeah, they 96 and 66. So almost a 100-win team. We won that series, won 3 out of 4, or sorry, 2 out of 3. But then here at LA, we did split, but we won the first 2. It was a 4-game series, and that did not bode well for them. They needed to at least win the series, if not sweep us. Then moving on here, looking at the St. Louis series. So we won that 2 out of 3. Then we got Arizona. We won that 2 out of 3. Here's the Dodgers again. We won that 2 out of 3. So that one hurt them. Arizona won that 2 out of 3. So I don't know. What is that? 5 series at least? It looks like that was a 4-game series there. So we did split with them. We hadn't lost a series still. Here's San Diego. That's finally we lost that series. So we did finish hot, which was good. We got some good prospects. I brought up Aaron Cook toward the end of the year. He's the number 7th ranked prospect. He looked like he was ready. He was injured, or I would have brought him up earlier, but he came up and did well. 3.60 ERA, only 15 innings. I had him, gave him a couple starts, I believe, but otherwise he was in the pen. He won 2 games. And we got Ionetta, another pitcher. I definitely like having those top 100 prospects as pitchers. But let's take a look at the MLB standings. That's enough of us, the Rockies. Let's see where teams are all at right now. So best team in baseball was by far the Braves. 112 wins, only 50 losses. They've had some super teams in this game throughout the years, and this could be one of the best. Yankees win over 100 games over in the AL East. So those 2 teams clinch. And let's take a look at their roster. Still a lot of guys that have been part of their core for a while. Just look at these rankings. Chipper Jones, first-ranked second baseman. Ventura is 37 years old, but he's had a great year with Atlanta. 43 jacks, slugging over 500. I mean, he's had pretty good years before this, but this year was even better. Second best third baseman in the game. I mean, John Leroy, top pitcher right now in the game. He is out, though, for 7 months. Mike Duvall, also injured for 3 to 4 weeks, but one of the best middle relievers in the game. Matt Gawer, I don't know if that's how you say it in real life, never made the bigs. Made it up to AAA. But right now he's 26 in this game. He's a 3-time All-Star, 02, 03, and then 04 this year. Look at his movement, according to my scout, which is very high accuracy on this guy. He's a ground ball pitcher. Looks like and he's got good stuff too. So he strikes guys out and he gets them just pounding the ball on the ground. So, yeah, they're looking good. Here's Smoltz still hanging on. He's 37 at the back end of the rotation, but yeah, he's not doing great. 5.27 ERA, but got 11 wins because they can hit. Let's check out the Yanks. So a lot of guys in the blue here, like top 10 type guys. Bernie Williams, 36 years old, but he's the second best center fielder. Had a good year. Only 18 jacks, but still OPS and what is that? Almost 900. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's 490 and 390. So high OPS there. Tim Salmon, um, one of the better right fielders in the game. So there's Jeter. He's been around for a while with them. He's kind of hurt, but he's playable still. But yeah, they got Fryman. They've had him for a while. Alfonso, they've had him. So they're looking good. Bob St. Pierre has been one of the better pitchers in the game. They got him as the sixth best right now, starting pitcher. They picked up Frank Gonzalez last year. Not having as good of a year ERA wise. Last year he was 18 and 10, had a 3.35 ERA. Won the Cy Young Award. That's right. Last year won the Cy Young. Been a three-time All-Star, but not as good of a year this year for him. But he's still winning games. They got Billy Coleman, 35 years old. I had him a while back. He was a good closer. He had 31 saves, a 4.50 ERA, but a lot of these AL ERAs, they're just inflated. The AL can hit quite a bit more. I mean, you can see right here, Braves, of course, are up there in runs scored, but Blue Jays and Yankees. Here's batting average, all AL teams. Home runs, Braves are up there, but then more AL teams. And then runs against and defensive stuff. Well, defensive efficiency, you got AL, but runs against NL teams, starters ERA, couple 2 out of 3 NL teams. Look at the Yankees, runs scored, second in all these categories. And then in the AL, pitching WAR is third. Bullpen ERA, not great, but starters ERA is third as well, even with a lot of these guys' ERAs in the fours. I mean, granted, it's not the high fours, and they got St. Pierre, who's under 4, but that's just the AL for you. So Royals have clinched. Strohs, as you saw, clinched. Strohs, Berkman, Bagwell, a lot of guys you recognize still there. Ben Zobrist is a rookie, so he's 23 years old, had a good year. Nevin, they've had him for a while. So Strohs looking good, first in batting average in the NL. Still not even in the top 3 of batting average in the MLB, but first in the NL. Let's take a look at the Royals. So they're coming along. Let's check out their history. Let's see. How do we get to that quickest? We go to maybe organization. All right, let's just do it this way. I know how to get there quickly this way. Royals team history. So lately, last year they did make the playoffs. So lately they've been coming on. 0-1, they were below 500. And then they've been making a lot of moves, making a lot of changes. 0-2, they missed the playoffs, but they were 88-74. I think that was the year the White Sox were really good in that division. 0-3, they made it, made the playoffs, did not finish first in the division, though, and then this year now won the division. Even though they had more wins last year, 96 wins last year, 92 this year, so still not a slouch. But let's take a look at their team here. So what I love about them, they're not like the Yankees and Braves. They still have some good players, mind you. Tarek Graham, 4th best left fielder in the game. A lot of these guys are around top 10. There's Beltran, obviously solid. John Burkett, 39 years old. He's out, though, out for the year. Got some good young pitchers. Greinke, who's 20 years old, hasn't had an outstanding ERA yet. Last year, he did have a 16-game win season. 2002, which I think that was his rookie year, he was a 3.48 ERA, so that's pretty good in the AL. He did lead the league in games started last year, but he could be real good, as you can see. I mean, he is real good. He's 20, but he's even got a little bit more potential to reach. Yeah, a lot of good young pitchers. Jesus Colome is 26. Albie Lopez, the veteran of the staff at 35, but Ryan Anderson, 25 years old. Patrick Coogan, 29. I like Anderson. He's got high stuff, not good control, but had a good season for him. Lefty, 10-6, 3.78 ERA. So I like the Royals. I think they'll hopefully make some noise. That'd be cool to see. Kind of a small market team. Actually, it's been growing, so it's been getting bigger here. As they've been good in the last several years, I suppose. Really high fan interest. That means you got a lot of popular players. let's keep looking here. Go back to the standings, and then we'll sim out the playoffs. So we're now down to the West. So as you saw earlier, Giants taking the NL West. We got Oakland taking the AL West by 10 games or so, quite a bit. Second in stolen bases, first in starters ERA in the AL. So they got Joey Hamilton under a 4 ERA, and then a lot of these guys right around a 4, low 4s. Zito is kind of the blemish in their staff at a 4.68, but he's still won double-digit games. Again, AL going to have some inflated ERAs. They got John Olerud. The A's do. He's 36 years old, still can ball. He's well above average or above average in every category. Two-time Gold Glover back in 96 and 97. He did make the All-Star game a few years back, was his latest one. So not a lot of accolades as of late, but still a solid player for him. Hit 278, slugged 467, a 355 on base percentage, 27 jacks. They got him usually hitting second. It looks like they got Manny, Tony Batista hitting cleanup with 17 jacks. Surprised they don't flip that, but they like Manny third, I guess. So yeah, they got Houston Street too as their closer, 21-year-old rookie right now. 191 ERA with 42 saves. Wow. And I only have a high accuracy, not very high, but look at his movement. I mean, he is good. He may end up being one of the better closers in the game. I mean, he already, what is he, ranked 7th? I mean, he arguably is higher than that. Maybe it's just because he's a rookie and he hasn't really proven it that much yet, but he's solid for them. So that's the A's in the AL West. Let's check out the Giants in the NL West, who again edged the Dodgers by 2 games. Ooh, real quick, let me show you the Dodgers because they were projected to be real good. They signed A-Rod. So this was his first year with LA. He had a great year. 36 jacks, hit 345. He's got the highest contract in the game, in the history of the game. No surprise there. Just like in real life when he went to Texas, but here he went to LA. Beltre they got, he's 25 years old, but he's a stud. He had 37 jacks this year, hit over 300. Alexis Gomez, kind of an under-the-radar guy, only rated 13th right now, but 19 jacks, slugged over 500. Victorino, a good leadoff for him. He's 23. I mean, they got Canerco, who is still the 4th best catcher in the game, only 28 years old. He was the number 1 prospect for a while in this game. Let's go to history. Yeah, number 2, number 1, back in 94. So he's still under 30. I mean, his ratings aren't ridiculously good, but they're still good. He's performing well. And he's more of a first baseman, just like in real life, but they had him at catcher, and he's great at catcher. I shouldn't say great, but I'd take that above average there, above average here, above average here. So you'd take that when he can hit like that. So yeah, they were looking good, but didn't make the playoffs. So they still have big market size, good fan loyalty, and big time fan interest, of course, like getting A-Rod and such. But let's check the Giants out, who of course won the division. They got old Alex Fernandez, 35 years old, but is he a multiple time? He's a multiple time Cy Young winner, 93 and 2000. Brad Hennessy, though, they have as their number 1, 24 years old, has had several good years in a row. They can obviously pitch. You see here, 2nd in starters ERA, only 8th in the NL in bullpen ERA, but 2nd in runs against and fielding independent pitching. Look at their offense. Like these guys, these are all their position players. Juan Gone is the guy that stands out, and he is ridiculous in this game. He had 41 jacks from this year, hit over 300, and his ratings are real good. He's on a big-time contract as well. All these accolades. Has he not won an MVP? I don't think he has. That's surprising. Bunch of World Series and playoff MVPs. I guess just one World Series MVP, but then a bunch of division and CS MVPs and a big-time All-Star. I don't even know, what is that, 10 or so? So he's been one of the best in the game here. Surefire Hall of Famer in this game. 40, again, almost like 641 jacks this year. So he's the top-ranked left fielder in the game right now. But hasn't won a MVP. That's incredible. Anyway, Giants are again. They're gonna try to pitch and defense you to death. Runs against their third in the MLB. So he's kind of their only offensive threat, really. I mean, look at this. They don't have anyone else hitting near 300. Josh Hamilton, they got it lead off, and he's hitting 276 with a 314 on base. So that's incredible. Good for the Giants. They're definitely the underdog of the NL against the Braves and the Stros. Don't forget we got the wild card. So actually, we got to finish up today to see if the Cubs or the Phillies make it. And then over in the AL, we got to finish up today to see if the Tigers or Blue Jays make it. You saw the Blue Jays were all over those leaderboards here in offense, the first and everything. They have a great team. They got Thomas, Alomar. I mean, they've traditionally been really good in this game. Let's look at their history real quick here. Blue Jays team history, playoffs. So it's like every other year they're making it. They make it twice in a row, several years. I imported all the history. So 92 was not the start of this sim, but of course, everyone knows they won the World Series in 92. Then in this game, they did not make it in 93. Then 94, 95, almost won 100 games, made it. 96 did not make the playoffs despite winning almost 100 games. Or is that their expected record? Which one's the one on the left? Okay, expected record was 99 wins. They won 91, though. They won 91 wins. Is that right? It says 11. I got to scroll to the top again. Oh, yeah, 11 games behind. Yep. So that's their real record. Anyway, they didn't make it that year. Then they made it twice in a row with almost 100 wins. Didn't make it, then made it twice in a row. Then didn't make it in 99, made it in 2000, didn't make it in 01, did make it in 02. So this will be, if they don't make it this year in 04, this will be the first time, not only since the start of the sim, but going back to, 1988. It'll be the first time that they have not made the playoffs 2 years in a row. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It'll be the first time that multiple years in a row, they did not make the playoffs. Because other than that, they only missed it by like 1 year. They missed it, they made it. They missed it, they made it. They made it, they missed it. So yeah, this will be interesting when we finish up today to see who gets it. So let's do that. You know what? Let's go make it a little more climactic here. Let's go to MLB scores, and we can look at it and sim it out here. So where are we at? Here's all the games going on. Here's the Blue playing the Yankees. Okay, so or did they win that? Oh, we got to go to what, tomorrow? They got a game tomorrow? No, maybe it just hasn't registered. So Blue Jays lost to the Yankees. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. Blue Jays lost the Yankees, and where it was the Cubs. Where are the Cubs? Cubs lost the Braves. So let's see. We'll finish up today. We'll have the wild card teams announced once it loads here in a second. I'll pause the recording here. Okay, here we go. I think what happened was we have a playoff between these two teams for the wild card. So an NL and an AL playoff. That's why they were tied, and it did register, but the games weren't scheduled yet for the next day. Now they are. So we got Phillies and Cubs. Dontrelle Willis been with Chicago in this game. 22 years old, hasn't been great, but he's a young pitcher. They're sticking with him. And they got Scott Mitchinson going, 19 years old. In real life, yeah, I hadn't heard of this guy. Never made the bigs, never made out of single A. He's a top 100 prospect in this game. 19 years old. So a couple young pitchers going in the NL. In the AL, we got Pedro with Detroit, 16-game winner. He's never been the Pedro in this game that he's been in real life. He still did win made it to the All-Star game twice, 01 and 04. And he's had a couple good years, a couple real good years. Here with the Dodgers in 95, he led the league in Ks per 9, had 220 Ks, led the league there. 368 ERA, not great for the NL. It's a 114 ERA plus, so 14% above league adjusted and park adjusted average. 2001 with the Dodgers, 140 ERA plus, led the league in Ks. That was his best year. Other than that, though, hasn't been great. So they got Pedro now. The Tigers do. what is he, 32 years old, and he's going against Sean Markham, 22 years old, with the Blue Jays. So he obviously was up in the bigs, just kind of bounced back and forth a lot, though. Did he come up with Toronto? I can't recall. Looks like I think he did. Yeah, he came up through their system. And then he was on Milwaukee for a bit later in his career. So we got Markham versus Pedro, Mitchinson versus Willis. Here we go. Let's quick play the Cubs game. And the Phillies win it. So Philly's going to be making the playoffs. They got Termel Sledge. This guy, Pedro Santana. So in real life, never made the AAA for 1 year. I don't know his story. Be interesting to find out, because in this game, he was imported with ridiculous ratings. And he was imported as a free agent. So they signed him for big money, and he's been good right away. Rookie of the Year last year, All-Star last year, and this year, Silver Slugger last year. They got J.D. Drew, who was also imported into the game, like as a free agent. I think that was some deal with, that was in real life, like his agent Scott Boras, had some kind of, I don't know, like he's going to be so good, and tried to negotiate it differently. I forgot exactly what happened, but yeah, Phillies are looking good. Burrell, Utley, J.D. Drew, Santana, Cole Hamels. Look at his ratings. He might be the best pitcher the game has ever seen in this sim. He's their top guy, 18-game winner, 3.11 ERA. He's got Cy Young potential going there. So let's go to the Blue Jays Tigers, go to the AL. Quick play that one. And the Tigers winning in a high-scoring affair, 17 total runs, winning 11-6. So let's check out the Tigers. They'll be making the playoffs. Nelson Castro, 28 years old, really good eye, and fast. Gold Glove winner as well, back in 02, a couple years back. Jesus Gonzalez, he's always been a good catcher in this game. Calvin Pickering, always been a good first baseman. John Valentine, of course, he's getting up there, isn't he? 37. Yeah, Jason Frazier, in real life, obviously good pitcher with the Blue Jays for most of his career. He's a two-time All-Star in this game. And Pedro. So that's the Tigers for you. First in stolen bases, it looks like. Donzel, McDonald, Castro, those guys can run. First in runs against as well. Wow, bullpen ERA first, starters ERA second. So, yeah, I mean, they got all these guys under a 4 or right around a 4. All right, without further ado now, let's sim out the playoffs. So here we go. We can look at the matchups now. Tigers, Yankees, A's, Royals in the AL. And then you got Phillies, Braves, and Giants, Stros in the NL. So let's go to playoff coverage. Again, I love how the playoffs were back then, that kind of I don't know if I can call it traditional, but as of late, the recent traditional structure. We got one wild card team and 3 division winners in each league. So you got 8 teams that make the playoffs. It's tough to make it then. They're getting soft now. They're moving to everybody makes it, like an NBA and the NHL. You could be like below 500 sometimes and make the playoffs. So you really got to, sometimes that may be a fluke and happen in the MLB, but it's obviously rare just because your division is really weak. But then, you're amongst 7 other really good teams usually. So it's going to be hard to make it out of there if you're not playing great. Anyway, enough preaching. Let's get rolling here. So best of 5, as we know, in the first round. So Helton won the batting title. No surprise there with a 379 batting average. That was the message. Okay, so Yankees and A's taking a 1-0 lead. Phillies and Stros taking a 1-0 lead. And AL, it's tied up now at 1. Stros up 2-0. Yankees and A's now with 2 wins. Stros sweeping the Giants, so no big surprise there. Giants were not looking good. We're going to game 5 in whether it's Detroit or New York. I guess New York probably, right, because they're at home. Let's go to scores. Check it out. We got to finish this series first, though. Can Atlanta clinch? They do. Well, not clinch, but clinch the next round. Move on to the next round. So they do Chipper Jones with a jack, Plesko with a jack, Utley a jack despite the loss. Smoltz pitched great. That's what you want in that veteran. Maybe he doesn't have a great regular season, but he's going to give it his best in the postseason. All right, so looks like we got a little note here. We had Tom Glavine. He's 38 years old, but we signed him, and he's been good for us. And it looks like he's eligible now. He got hurt. Okay, we'll get that. We'll get that finished later here. So let's get back to the playoff coverage here. So again, we're going to a game 5 now in both the AL games. So we'll have Braves Stros. That'll be a good series. And let's sim these ones out. Let's look at the matchups here. Go to scores. So A's and Royals. We got Blanton versus Colome. I'm saying it right. I recognize his name, of course. Good pitcher. And Fraser and St. Pierre. So a lot of good pitchers here. Let's finish it up. 6-1 Yanks over the Tigers. So winning it pretty handily. 5 runs in the 5th. James Clifford, the game's current home run single season record holder, with a jack for him. And now let's sim this one out. A's and Royals. Colome, did he carry him? He did. 2-1. Olerud with a jack, but a pitcher's duel, and the Royals win in that one. Jesus with 6 1/3 innings pitched, gave up 8 hits, but only 1 earned run. Okay, so let's get back to the playoff tree. So now we got Yankees Royals. That's going to be good. I mean, really no surprises here. And we got A's Stros. Let's see if we make it to a game 7 on any of these. We're at 2-1 Yanks. We're tied at 2 in the AL. Royals going up 3-2, and Braves taking a pretty good 3-1 lead over the Stros. Stros trying to fight back 3-2. And we're going to a game 7 in the AL. What about in the NL? Braves moving on. Oh, and I didn't go and look at that one closer. I thought maybe it'd be on the next day, but that's okay. Maybe we can glance at it and see what happened. But we got a Yankees Braves World Series now. So here it is, game 7. Atlanta winning 6-4. Looks like reliever Nate Brown came in and got the win for him. Player of the game, though, was Wainwright. So he must have had a great start. And in the AL, 5-4. Wow, Yankees winning it 13 innings. Bottom of the 13th got a run. I don't know. Was it a walk-off? Was it Tim Salmon walk-off? Can we look at highlight reel? I don't think I've ever done this before. And I don't know if I have it registered so that non-human teams can do that, but let's check it out. It's loading here for a minute. I think I'm low on oh, here we go. Oh yeah, now it's Huston in Colorado. So I think, yeah, we're gonna have to exit out of here. Let me pause this and get out. Okay, I think we're back here. Not sure what happened there, but it couldn't handle it because I don't have that option checked. So anyway, looks like Yankees, they walked it off obviously in the 13th. So here we go now. We got the Braves and the Yanks. Let's get it rolling. 1-0 Braves. 1-1. I mean, these two teams are the two best in the game this year. Yanks going up 2-1. Braves tying it at 2. Yanks going up 3-2. Let's check it out a little closer now. Oop, I meant to go to scores. Okay, we got to finish today. So here we go. Braves are at home. They need to win to stay alive. We got St. Pierre going. That's the Yankees' #1. And Dario Ferran going for the Braves. 3.48 ERA. Won 21 games for him this year. Wow. Okay. I would imagine a pitcher's duel with both these teams, high-powered offenses. 10 runs by the Braves. Wow. So staying alive, pushing it to a game 7. Chipper Jones, his 9th jack in the postseason. Wow. Okay. So here we go. We're going to a game 7 now. We got Wainwright going for the Braves. Good young pitcher for him. And Jason Arnold, also good young pitcher, going for the Yankees, 16-game winner. I mean, these teams are real good. This is kind of what you would expect. Here we go, Game 7. And 14-5, Braves put it away with authority. So Atlanta is your World Series champion. Let's check out their history. So obviously they've just been a big time dynasty. Did not make the playoffs in 93, the first start of this game sim. Obviously 91, 92, like in real life, they made it all throughout the 90s. Didn't make it in 93, didn't make it in 97, but made it all those other years. And believe it or not, last year in 03 was their first championship in this sim. So they had gotten far quite often in the playoffs, but hadn't won a championship. Won it last year, won it this year. So back-to-back World Series championships for the Braves. 111 wins last year in the regular season, 112 this year. I mean, they're making the case for quite the dynasty. Look at this. They're first in budget, payroll, huge market size, loyalty, fan interest, ton of money. Wow. So there's no excuse that they don't get everybody back that they currently have. All these guys, I mean, top players in the game. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the offseason. Stay tuned for the next video to see that. And thanks for watching.